So what were the action steps they decided to take?
After 21 years of not being in school, it's a great transition back into school to be in the ACE program. I grew up moving around a lot, mainly the state of California. So I never had consistency in school. I took to making friends and the popularity contest of school more so than the actual studies. I dropped out my senior year. I was in a car accident that my best friend died in, Jesse Seligman. And going back to school after that, although I was on track to graduate, I would look at books and papers and the words would just float off the page and I just couldn't concentrate. I've served a couple prison terms. I've gone through a heroin addiction, a methamphetamine addiction, an alcoholic. I've been a depressive. 2 or 3 years ago, my plan was to die. I was very depressed and I didn't believe in myself anymore. And I had no desire to see what the future held for somebody like me. So yeah, 2 or 3 years ago, the outlook from my point of view was bleak at best. And I'm not suicidal, but I've seen through those eyes, and I know what it's like to be hopeless. I know that depression is like a very real epidemic. I live with PTSD and a whole array of like technical medical terms, you know, that I live with, but I don't let define me. I took the GED, which was in jail, and I did great on it, but it didn't really fulfill me. I felt, as far as with school and like realizing my potential, that there were some loose ends to tie up, and that's why I'm here. And now you're finding that we do relate a lot more. At 38 years old, running around with a bunch of teenagers, out of place is an understatement. I wondered, what am I doing here? You know, why am I not working? Why am I not being, you know, a support to my daughter in that way right now? I mean, what kind of risk am I really taking here? But I know that's the self-doubt and the insecurity that tries to creep in, and you know, I'm sure most can relate. You know, sometimes we just second guess ourselves and we don't know what we're doing or if it'll work out. But kind of like a roller coaster, if I'm in fear, I'm not in complacency. And this is like a roller coaster. It's kind of like that exciting fear that that keeps me striding for more. And you know, just like when you get off the roller coaster and you realize like you got through it, and that was kind of fun. That's what I'm finding each day at school or back to school is for me. You know, I made it through another day, and that was kind of exciting. And the fear I might feel in the morning getting up, you know, or the doubts, they slowly turn into empowerment and believing in myself.
So you have self-esteem, and then what do you think this is up here?
Mental awareness.
Yeah, this is like, they call it self-actualization. You know, so you have needs for education and dreaming and spirituality and truth. And
Some of those ones also.
I've done a lot of things to help empower myself and grow, and that's kind of what coming to school is helping further, is my self-esteem. I'm finding that I run into less problems the more esteem I build for myself. The best thing about being in college is that I get to set a good example for my daughter. You know, the best thing about being in college is that she gets to see that school is cool and learning is fun and daddy's on fire. I mean, she's in the 3rd grade, and it's fun to talk about our school days together and share that experience. She's a very good student, and I know I identified with my parents growing up. What they were, I saw myself as. And so, you know, this most special thing for me is that when she looks at me, she sees somebody in college and she can identify herself, hopefully later, as that. yeah, that's the most exciting part, is just sharing this with my daughter Xavier. The most important thing I've learned in the ACE program so far is that I can show up, I can make it through an 8-hour day, I can bond with my peers. I used to isolate a lot and separate myself from everybody in my mind, and I'm finding like a lot of people that I wouldn't expect, young and old, male, female, even people that don't have an addictive past like I do. They still wear the same shoes. They still have the same fears. They still have the same hopes and dreams and obstacles. And so feeling that bond is really strengthening me and putting some wind under my wings.